Okay, audio test in game. Let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna do talking about the tutorial. This is the tutorial audio test. This is not the actual video. This is just an audio test. I'm gonna just do what I would do in the tutorial, but this is just the audio test. This is not the actual video. It's just an audio test. So let me know if the audio shit. Obviously, I'm talking to myself, but let me know. Let me know if you guys use the Rappel, how you use it, how you've been using it, have you enjoyed it, have you found any glitches, do you know of any other tech and stuff? In the comments. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings, your whatever else you have. If you have something else, I don't really understand any of those things, but anyway, so Rappel. What is the Rappel? The Rappel is an item you get either from the shop here on characters that don't start with it, which is everything else except the specialist. The specialist is special because it starts with the Rappel. All you have to do to use the Rappel as specialist is go to your tab and equip. If you're any other character and you want to do a no mech run where unless you're cosplayer can do the kick tech effectively. I haven't gotten good at that, but anyway, you need 99 strength or a high enough strength, whatever the strength value is, to be able to do that. So you can use that to do a no mech run, but I think you might or might not need the Rappel as well to have a consistent run with no mech on any character. I could be wrong about that. I haven't tested cosplayer enough, mainly because of the high lag percent makes not being in a mech at all times kind of not that great. Yeah, that's one of the best things about specialist for this run is having like no lag. Let me check the stats. I haven't looked at specialist stats and like thought about it. So you start with 0 or 1 vital, 1 strength, 15 perception. I think that that helps with like aim. Speed is good. It's one of the better speeds that you start with one of the base characters. Bioenergy doesn't matter. We're not using the organ for anything. I can't remember what luck all affects, but it's not all that important for this run, I don't think. So the main things that, perception helps a little bit, speed helps a good chunk. Having agility up is dope, because that affects your jump height, which is super important for Rappel tech. That's one thing, I think, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure agility is like cosplayer's lowest stat. So that could be a detriment to trying to do a Rappel focused no mech run, but I mean you can still use the strength to like climb up walls, so that may not be as important as I think it is, but anyway, this is a Rappel tutorial. I gotta stay a little bit focused. So for the run, you drop your weapons, you equip the Rappel, you jump over here, you talk to this guy, this dude, yep. You can't be too close to him. You can't be giving him a kiss. You gotta be a little bit far. If you're closer than, around this range, you can't talk to him. So, give him this amount of space at least to talk to him. He won't talk to you if you're, inside him, basically. And you don't touch this. You don't talk to any of the other NPCs besides Lorenzo and the last dude in the game. So, don't ever touch the computer. I mean, unless you're running this on another character, then yeah, you would need to go to shop, you need to go to items, you need to buy Rappel right here, but I don't need to do that, and I'm pretty sure there's no reason to having 2 Rappels. I mean, technically you can buy another Rappel on Specialist, but I have no idea if there's any use for that. You don't go up to this guy, you don't touch him in any sort of way, you don't, interact with the mech at any capacity for the no mech run. If you're just here for repel tech, it still, you know, applies, you know, that you don't need to mess with the mech, you know, at all. You don't need to grab the guns, you don't need to get inside of the mech, you don't need to press anything, no buttons need to be pressed on the mech, okay? So, for the no mech run, you're basically just, at least at the start, you're just doing the repel strafe jump, and you can probably do it faster than me, but I'm just doing a way that's easy for how I do my keybinds, which is default. I'm pretty sure you can do like a faster repel jump and like get farther if you spam them at like the same time, but it can be a little bit inconsistent. It just depends on how you're doing it. But anyway, you want to get a good time, you know, getting from here to Lorenzo to here, and then when you're here, you want to jump past this thing and then just straight to here. Then from here, you kill this guy, because he can shoot you. If you route up this way, which I wouldn't recommend because the invisible walls make things kind of annoying and the geometry's a little fucky, it's doable, but you're still, you know, all the ways away from here. It's just a little bit easier and more consistent to route towards it instead of trying to do a wall climb up their way. There's probably a like crazy tech you could do to like just instantly jump that way, but I haven't found it yet. So anyway, for now, just shoot this guy. He's annoying. He can kill you on most of the difficulty levels, if not all of them. You're gonna go left to right. You're gonna kind of look, when you start it, you're gonna go look down and then look. If you take too long to like do this type of shit, the repel will extend, and it's kind of annoying. You want to do all the movement like quick enough where it's not going to extend real crazy and do some weird jank. Now, it can help you at times, but for the most part, you want to kind of keep the repel about as stiffed up as you can. You don't want to, you know, extend it. You want it to kind of be, you know, it gets a little bit flaccid-ish or whatever the fuck when it gets like out. It gets a bit finicky of trying to get height and speed. It's more about like you get lower to the, you get further from being up if the more flaccidly extended it gets. So if you're trying to get height, if you're trying to climb a wall, you kind of want to be tight with it. You want to be, you know, you want it to be tightened up. You want the rope to be, you know, kind of short, kind of stout. And so you can kind of, how I did it, you jump along this wall to get up here, or you can just strafe jump all the way to there and go side to side. Most of the time you're climbing, you're going to want to go from one, you're going to want to find a corner, jump from one side of the corner to the other, and you're basically just trying to throw your rappel as high as you can, get speed to like pendulum swing up, and basically once you're higher than this line roughly, you're good. Like, you're totally fine. It's, this fence starts at about right here. So if you get like roughly around this area in terms of height, you're pretty much good to get over it. And I mean, there's lots of ways to like bungee cord up height. It's just pretty consistent to be able to do the way I'm doing the pendulum swing up to this area. And if you do it fast enough, you don't have to worry about like taking fall damage as long as you're getting into the exit zones. I'm sure most people already know, as long as you're in the exit zone when you die, you can spam enter or click the OK quick enough to just go to the next level. For here, you don't need any weapons. You don't have to worry about the mechs. You can either climb roughly to the top of this, or you can just kind of go straight to the hill. either way, it's your choice. You don't want to go over this wall because it's just a flat plane. If you go over it, you kind of have to backtrack a little ways. I mean, it's not really that big a deal, but I mean, you're basically just climbing. It's an invisible wall, so you have to get around the invisible wall if you go on top of it, which you really should be doing if you're routing correctly. So for here, for this section, you basically just, you know, trying to get over there, same shit as before on any other route you've done. For movement on here, you want to be able to jump, you have to be going in a direction, like, I don't know, the slope doesn't like certain directions that you can move. Like, there's definitely ways that are probably more consistent and faster than what I've shown in the runs. I just haven't been doing enough testing to, like, figure that shit out. There's probably, like, much faster ways of doing this hill than what I've shown, than anything I know about currently, but basically anything that gets you enough height to fall a good distance while going and still having a rappel boost is good on this hill. As long as you can get enough height and get good distance while keeping the rappel boost speed is good. Another thing to note about this hill is this incline change. You just slide down this shit. You can't jump. So if you fall down this, you have to recover up to here, or you just bite the bullet and go straight down that way. You could maybe do that faster. I don't know. It seems like if you had good times on this hill, it's probably the fastest way of traversing the map on foot. I haven't really figured out, like, what's the absolute fastest way of rappel boosting on this shit, but it's probably something more like this than what I've shown in the videos. I just haven't wanted to put enough time to, like, figure the fuck out of this hill. Anyway, you can either just go that way, like, you can, once you're past that little incline, you could probably take it that way, but there's the hill there in front of you, so I don't know. You could probably figure out a different route than this on this map, but for right now, this is just what I'm running. Just taking those, that area to here, and then just doing a, you know, standard rappel boost strafe thing. And then if you're on top of the hall, if you're on top of anything high up than where you need to go, you can do a strafe jump to where you need to go, kind of far from where you need to go, and you can take some fall damage. Like, it doesn't fucking matter as long as you're gonna get into the exit zone. So any of these exits that are like near a high up area, as long as you could line it up properly, you can definitely just yeet yourself in there and not care about fall damage. So for this, same shit as before. You really don't want to be, if you can help it, like trying to climb up from the rappel being on top of something. It's kind of inconsistent to try to do that. It's easier to just get a good swing spot placement and try to get enough height, and then at the top of that height do another rappel boost to get up enough height. For here, on the very easy, you can just straight walk it and do this, and then on any of the difficulty modes you can go on the outside of the map, but you're more likely to fall off. You can still do it on the inside, but you're very likely to die to these guys, these mechs and shit. So for the higher difficulties, this is the fastest way where you're not moving around and shit. You could probably do this backwards, but I don't know, that gives me a fucking heart attack trying to do that shit. So for just consistency's sake, yeah, like that. You die from those guys if they see you and you're moving too slow. So it depends on the difficulty level. Alright, if this was a real run, this would be fucked because you went into a mech. A lot of the bigger levels, the more open-ended levels, if you die, you spawn into a mech. The run's over. It's just a practice run at that point. It's not, I wouldn't accept that. I wouldn't. It's no mech. Fuck the mech. At least in this specific context, you know? Not like totally fuck the mech. The mechs are cool in this game, but you know, for this context, you know, get out of here. Anyway, so. I'm definitely not going to be tryharding too much on this, just because I've already tried to record this a couple times and the audio was complete dog shit. So I've been redoing it, trying to figure out the audio issues. I think I may have fixed it, so honestly, my voice is kind of fucked right now. Or I don't think I'm going to try this again. I'm just going to pick between the ones I already have recorded in this one. I think I already explained why I'm doing this strafe on higher difficulties. You pretty much have to be doing this. Either this is just the way that's most consistent, where you can see where you're going. You can line it up with the UI, and it's not as stressful as doing some weird backward shit. Or you don't need to move around a whole bunch with your mouse if you're doing this technique on higher difficulties. You do need to do it. So for this, I'm pretty sure with this character you have enough jump height to most of the time jump over this pretty easily, but I like to, pretty much all the time you're moving on foot, just do the rappel boost. It makes most of the jumps more consistent and just the movement faster. So on higher difficulties, more consistently, this mech that spawns right here will aggro you from there. Sometimes it happens on lower difficulties like it just did. You want to come over here so he falls down, you know, check on him. Seems like he's fucking being autistic and falling. Yep. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna try this level again. Oh yeah, I don't want a mech boost. Fuck it. I'm just gonna keep doing this rappel. I might need to cut this video up. I don't know how to do video editing. Fuck that shit. Okay, yeah, there's several different ways of gaining height with the rappel. I just like to use the most consistent ones, because if you try to use like if you try to use the rappel to like extend out to try to get speed and height, it can be very inconsistent depending on your technique, and it's just usually easier to do some type of pendulum swing thing where the rappel's not extending out a shit ton while you're doing it. It's usually, I mean, you definitely want it to extend so to be able to get some distance in certain areas, but for the most part, you're trying to do things quick enough that the rappel doesn't do some weird shit on you. So, on all these corners, if you feel ballsy enough and you practice enough, you can definitely just do the rappel jump to cut the corner. And I think on very easy, you don't have to worry about this mech as much that spawns here. This guy, you need to do this section fast enough on all the difficulties, or this guy will kill you. It's not really a problem that he's gonna come over here, it's that he'll shoot you while you're flying up here, or that you're jumping around up here. So on very easy, I can't remember if that guy that I usually route to avoid is that big of a deal here. I guess not. If you do that last section quick enough, most of those mechs aren't really a problem that you need to route around. It's more of a problem on extravagant difficulty. Alright, where are we at? This is the fucking farm or some shit? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the level loads are pretty slow on this level in Bog a lot of times. It wants to load you in with a mech, and it kind of has a little aneurysm when you're not in one. I mean, it still loads, but if you're on higher resolution, it, for me at least, will consistently crash. Like, you know, if you're running this a lot, your PC is going to heat up and the game might crash in certain loading areas, but if you're not running it like a shit ton, you should be fine. But for me at least, I'm experiencing like some crashes in that load zone and the previous load zone. The route I take here is just to avoid things that spawn over here. I use these mechs as a rough guideline of where I need to go, and I'm using my, at least when I can start to see it, I line up my eye and my clock UI roughly where I need to go when I'm doing this type of strafe jumping. That's mainly why I like to strafe this direction, is to use that clock in the eye to roughly line up where I'm going. And for here, I route the way I do to avoid walking on this material here, because you can jump on it, but it's like fairly inconsistent when it won't let you jump. Like I'm spending jump a shit ton here, and it's not that consistent. Like you might be able to do this kind of fast just walking on this shit, but most of the time I'm just gonna jump on this and try to get a relatively fast rappel wall climb bullshit. I'm not gonna worry about it too much right here, but sometimes an enemy will spawn roughly around in these areas. It's a much bigger problem on higher lack characters, but since we're starting at like 1 lack, it's not a big deal. You don't have to route for the enemy spawns too much, except for the ones that spawn closer to farm. They're much more consistent about spawning. So, normally in the route with the timing, you would get here about daytime. I mean, what is it? Yeah, it would be daytime, and you would be able to see shit better. But sometimes there's a mech that spawns roughly around here. That can definitely kill you really easily. But yeah, you just... pretty boring. This section's probably the most boring. It's just about avoiding enemies and kind of taking a slow route. Well, it's not the slowest route you could take, but it feels pretty slow going through that level. And then, do I have any fucking wine or some shit on me? I can't remember what I start with. I should have bought some wine for this fucking playthrough. Fuck. You know what? I'm just gonna go... Normally I wouldn't do this shit for the run, but since it's not the right time of day, I'm just gonna go to office. In the route, you would have the right time of day if you're going quick enough, but it's kind of a pain in the ass in that area at the wrong time of day, so I'm just gonna say fuck it and... What the fuck is this? Why is it not giving me the wine? Am I pressing the wrong button? Whatever. I don't know what's bugging out about that, but let's pick this guy's wine up. Or wait, I can sleep right now. My dumbass. I don't need wine. Alright, I think that should be good enough. Yeah, this is daytime. Okay. Alright. Normally, this is not what you'd be doing, but whatever. Did I don't know what I did there. Did I get the save zone? Fuck. Okay, yeah, this is the right area. Okay. Normally, you wouldn't ever want to touch a mech in these runs, but whatever. Anyway, you spawn here. This guy's gonna start shooting at you once you get past about here. Since this spawn is shooting at me, you shoot his toes, you shoot whatever. I'm sure y'all probably already know about that guy, but the main reason you need to shoot him is because you're going to be on this wall and you're going to be climbing here, and he's the first enemy that's going to have line of sight on you and start shooting at you. There's a few other people I kill on this level, right at the exit that you kill in the normal run. Okay, this guy that's shooting at you now is like over there. Yeah, he can kill you pretty consistently if you take too long, or if you're doing bad technique with the rappel. So, oh yeah, you shoot this guy again. toes, and you don't drop your weapons. If you fuck up with the sniper, you're gonna have a pain in the ass of a time trying to use the pistol, but you may or may not need it. If you've got the route down, you can just throw the pistol, but I don't know, I haven't wanted to accidentally drop the other gun or some shit, so I'm just keeping it. I mean, yeah, technically I could just throw that shit, so whatever, to be a little bit faster. This material is another material that doesn't like you jumping, so just jump when you can, rappel boost when you jump, just to get a bit more speed whenever you can. I'm spamming jump the whole time I'm on this shit, and you know, you definitely get enough jumps to, you know, get some speed, but it's not that big of a deal. Alright, from here, this is, have a good enough, okay, have good enough visibility. So, if you're here, the first guy you want to kill is to the right of the house. I don't have very good visibility right now, but anyway, this is what you're going to look at to, like, roughly line up where these guys are. It's gonna, you know, you're mainly going to be focusing on the roof to know where these guys are. So you know, from a little bit to the left, you look for this guy, go this angle. He's going to be, you know, I don't know if y'all can see that in the YouTube video, but he's just below my crosshair. You can see him turning around and moving his head. You mainly look for his head because it's a lot lighter color. It's like a handful of pixels that are a little bit wider than the normal green. You want to roughly line that up with about halfway into your crosshair from here. And head tap him twice. And if you have a good enough screen settings and like color or whatever, you should be able to see him and see when he drops to the floor. It may not look like too different, but you should be able to see like shit drop from his corpse and shit. And then from here, if you're lined up already where you can see this, you know, you don't have to move, but if you need to move, just move, and he'll be roughly like halfway into this slope of the roof. Right there. Just line it up with halfway into your crosshair again. Same shit. And it's kind of hard to see once the helmet is, but you should be able to tell once you get used to it enough, like roughly where it's at and how to set your aim. Same thing with the other guy, it's just the other side of the roof. If you already do the route, you probably already know where these guys are, but it's probably the first time you're shooting from this angle. So you should be able to see items drop, the body drop or whatever, just a little bit after you shoot them. There's probably a faster way of dropping down to here. I just try not to get any extra enemy aggro than I need. And from here you can drop the sniper, you're not going to need that shit. As long as you hit the shots, you don't need a gun for this level anymore. And it looks like I missed one guy. Alright, well, I'll just redo this section. But yeah, I should have kept the sniper just in case I missed my shit, because I did miss my shit, but anyway. It's not that big a deal if you're just practicing, but once you get the route down, it's pretty important to kill those guys from that area where you can see them from a distance where they won't aggro. Can't really see you or shoot you from there, so it's pretty good to be able to kill them then and there. And if I could get this a little bit more consistently, this guy that's shooting at me here would be less likely to kill me. So yeah, you definitely want to be careful how you climb that wall, especially at the end, because that guy can definitely kill you pretty easily. Sorry this video is long. I've been trying to make a good video, or at least good audio on the video for a minute now. Hopefully this isn't complete dog shit, but I don't think I'm going to try it again. I've been spending too much time trying to get just a single good, you know, attempt at this without having complete dogshit audio. Alright. So, where the fuck is this guy? Lining him up. Yeah, I've practiced with this, but trust me, it is a pain in the ass to see. Alright. Don't feel bad if you're taking a while to get used to shooting these guys out, or if you're having inconsistencies with this, because it took me a while to get relatively competent with this shit, but I'm still pretty ass. It's like, the closer you are to this rock, the easier it is for you to see him, but if you go too far right, like here, that's so hard to see. It makes a big difference just being in the right location to see him. And you might want to just, for this guy, you know, throw a couple extra shots to make sure you hit him. Yeah, and you could probably land like on the side of this wall and swing back up, but I don't want to aggro any unnecessary enemy aggro. Alright, I'm just gonna throw this shit because I'm like 99% sure I fucking hit these guys this time, same as last time, but okay, whatever. Alright, and get. You probably do this drop faster, whatever. So just pick up one of these guys' weapons. You need it for this next section. Drop your weapon, your starting weapon, whatever one you have in your hand. Shoot these guys. This is much harder on Extravagant, but it's doable. You just have to get the timing down. I would definitely practice this run on very easy, just get the basics down, and then, you know, work your way up to the Extravagant, if you feel like it. But yeah, this section is much harder on Extravagant. The timing is a lot tighter because of the enemy aggro times. But it's basically the same route if you're doing it this way. This guy and this guy here, this one here, you don't have to worry about it. You don't technically need to, you know, boost. You don't need any boost to go through this area, but if you want to do it faster or cleaner, just, you know, add the boost to it. But you can practice just getting the jump right, and, you know, once you get that, and then same thing here, you ignore all these enemies, you ignore the turret. The turret and the other enemies can kill you when you're not, you know, used to the route. On Extravagant, they're much more likely to kill you. This turret is basically RNG, whether or not it kills you. I don't know, timing, maybe you could figure out like the exact times of it, but I don't know, it's basically RNG for me. And, you know, if you know the route, you roughly know where these enemies are. I'm pretty sure it's like 2 turns after that little thing. Yeah. So, you gotta kill these guys, for this thing. You need this gun, and in the route I have uploaded, I dropped this gun. That's a mistake. You don't want to drop that. It's pretty obvious once you see that I keep the move speed slow because I dropped it. Anyway, there's not much you can do here. You can get a little speed boost or some shit, but it's basically just, you come here, you don't peek him too much, you peek his knee, his knee, kill his knee. Ow. I used to be an adventurer like you, until I got shot in the knee. An arrow to the knee. Alright, I know I'm not funny. Thank you. Thank you for commenting me that. Alright, anyway. That's pretty much it. There's not much else, at least for this run right now. If someone else comes without some tech, you know, then there'll be more to learn. That's basics it. I can't think of anything else. There's a shit ton of, like, out of bounds stuff you can do. Like, if you want to get out of bounds early in the game, like from here, I can show y'all what that's like. This is basically the first area that I started testing out, like, fucking, Rappel tech with. I would just go down there, fuck around with those NPCs, so. But anyway, this area is a good area to practice Rappel tech on because there's a lot of different walls to just practice on, and it's really early, so you don't really have to commit to a run. just to practice rappel tech and climbing a wall. And I mean, there's a ton of shit to look at out of bounds here. It's, you know, this is probably one of the better areas to just practice fucking around with the rappel, because there's so many weird geometries to fuck with, and it's not like you need to worry about a run here when you're fucking around. Also, this is probably one of the hardest things to do, like the strafe walk on and jump corners, if you want to practice that and get really fucking nuts on it. I have not spent enough time to get, like, ridiculous, you know, with it, but you could probably do some insane shit practicing here and get good at it with. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff to look around on this map. Yeah, on some areas you can interact with the fucking exit or level saves and stuff out of bounds. It's kind of inconsistent between level to level, but like if you're trying to hit it from below, it's a complete pain in the ass to like try to hit like 1 pixel. It depends on the level, but a lot of the levels, the exit zone has like a pixel that you can hit, and then you have to you basically need a enter spam type thing to do it. But there's probably some levels you could do a different route by having some type of inner spam type thing going on while hitting the level exit from the bottom of the map. It's kind of annoying rappelling on the bottom of a map. It's kind of a pain in the ass to time it right, and I don't know. I don't want to route that way with my keybinds how they are right now. But yeah, there's not much to do besides look at the skybox when you fall out of the map. You don't die, at least not right now, so you kind of just have to reset the game or load a save if this happens to you. I'm sure plenty of y'all already know this. Alright, I think that's it. No outro. I don't know. What is a good outro? Fuck, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Shit. I don't know. Shit.